Hi, I'm Lamin Sise, Head of Sales and Marketing, EJ Investments.
And I'm Fatmata, Sales Supervisor, EJ Investments.
We are looking forward to seeing you at our stall at this year's trade fair.
And the good news is we have a 10% discount waiting for you for our Sanyang Seaview Estate.
EJ Investments is at the GCCI Trade Fair, stall number 11 and 12.
See you guys.
EJ Investments, we have 10% discount at our Sanyang Seaview Estate this year's trade fair.
Customer satisfaction is our pride.
See you guys at our stall at the Independence Stadium.
See you there.
EJ Investments, Nin Trade Fair, and a 10% discount also on Sanyang Seaview Estate or Independence Stadium or Alna Moltaraje.
EJ Investments. This year's trade fair, we have a 10% discount for you at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. See you there.
EJ Investments, ñu ngi leen amal 10% discount ci suñu Sanyang Seaview Estate bi ci trade fair bi. Fekka leen ñu ci stadium bi.
EJ Investment, imen jogi 10% discount ka Sanyang Seaview Estate meng ilang habi ang ka stadium.
EJ Investments, we are first in property.
The public is hereby informed that the Constitutional Review Commission of the Gambia is embarking on external public consultations targeting Gambians outside the country. The consultative process will incorporate the views and aspirations of Gambians living in the diaspora and the drafting of the new Gambian Constitution, and it will cover Africa, Europe, the Middle East, and the United States of America. In Africa, the Constitutional Review Commission will hold public consultations in Dakar, Senegal on Sunday the 28th of April 2019 at the Senegalese Chamber of Commerce, and in Nouakchott, Mauritania on Thursday the 2nd of May 2019 at Hotel Taiflaw. A similar meeting with Gambians in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia is scheduled for the 2nd of May 2019. As part of its mandate, the Constitutional Review Commission had embarked on a series of in-country public consultations which entailed direct face-to-face with Gambian communities around the country to discuss issues related to constitutional reform and the consideration of public opinions on matters that Gambians wish to contribute towards the building of a new constitution. With part of the process Gambians are making.
Hello viewers and welcome to yet another episode of The Brunch. Of course, I am your host today, Sadia Brito, and introducing our usual panel. We have Mr. Lamin Cham and of course Mustafa K. Dabo. We are sorry that Nima isn't here right now, but I'm sure she will be joining us later. We will now allow Mr. Cham to take us through the usual, which is the newspaper review. Mr. Cham.
Thank you very much, Sadia, and welcome once again to our viewers across the globe. Now, this week we have politics as well as, of course, the all-important testimony at the TRRC. President Barrow has said he doesn't fear any commission of inquiries after he leaves office, meaning, of course, that he is going to be Mr. Clean, unlike his successor, Yahya Jammeh, who we have been told is accused of stealing nearly $1 billion or more. But will President Barrow contest in 2021, or is that question out of it, or will it be NRP or not? We will talk about that. And we hear from the horse's mouth, the main man behind the November 11 slaughter of 11 Gambian soldiers has owned up to all his role in that ugly incident. That's in the TRRC. All this we will discuss. But first, let's go to the URR. The URR apparently has been a venue for two major political meetings. One held by President Barrow and the other his former native political home, UDP, is going on right now. We don't have much on that, but Barrow is saying that he doesn't fear any commission of inquiry if he leaves. Well, there have been insinuations and threats from people who think his government and himself is corrupt and he is likely to face a commission. Do you think that's a fair comment, Mustafa? And why is he so confident
that
he probably is already shown signs of corruption that he will face a commission?
I think should not be a statement. He does not need to say that.
He
just have to act so that
Like
his
it.
actions manifest that. But if you ask me as a journalist, is his actions manifesting any scenario as he is painting? I would definitely say no.
Okay.
And I have my reasons. A couple of days ago, I did a story which you people have published on the Standard about some procurement issues. And one of the players of that contracts, the initial contracts won by Guy Enterprise had been during Barrow's time when Barrow came to office, the renovations that had happened at State House, costing $21 million, it was given to Guy without due process.
There was no tendering process.
Without tendering or without...
and you think this is
and State House was not coming. State House, I gave them the opportunity, they didn't comment on it. And these expenditures, including orders, run into millions that did not follow due process.
Did this...
And that's just what we know.
Now
we have seen the contract, a similar thing happening in the Banjul contract.
Is there
and
enough,
not more. So
is there enough ingredients to point to his personal involvement? He could say, well...
The government is corrupt and the government is presided by Barrow. Barrow cannot be absolved of that corruption.
Well, he might say he's not thinking about himself. That he doesn't.
It's not himself.
Or himself.
He presides over a system that is corrupt through and through, and that's the reality.
So you mean there is
and he's not doing anything about it, and that's a fact.
Is there any other reason you think that his comments that he doesn't fear any commission might not?
Well, you and I know that's not real. I mean, out in the surface when you look. What you see in the conduct,
there are people,
and in public,
there are people who went even to the point of pointing to buildings, edifices allegedly built by him that they believe is not commensurate to his salaries.
Yeah. Well, if I go into that, I will go into realms of speculation.
All right.
Yeah,
but as a journalist, I can safely say that so far what we know indicates that the government is corrupt.
Okay.
And these two expenditures I have points out at that, and there are many more that the story is not just completed, but when in the due course we will come to know.
And
even journalists themselves will expose
that people
these
are
things.
talking about. I think one of them is his home in Mankamankunda. But what I meant to understand is that is not from government coffers. What we had was that it is sponsored by a particular government, Kuwait or something. We're not sure about that yet, but hopefully we will find out the real reason.
Well, perhaps you know, for instance, also to be also fair to the president, I think that the home of the most protected public official should also commensurate with security requirements.
But
I am not saying to build a $2 billion complex, but I think it's reasonably necessary.
But many people
that the president has a home that commensurates.
Many people are comparing the same case with Kanilai. They said before Jammeh came into power, and then the first time he came into power, Kanilai wasn't like that. And all of a sudden,
but at Kanilai, you are talking about a $2 billion infrastructure. That's not what Barrow built.
Did you read the budget?
Yes.
The current budget when it was being presented.
Absolutely.
Did you hear any expenditures been voted for the home of the president apart from State House?
No.
So that means, as far as the country is concerned, we have no business. Our money has no business with the home in Kanilai or in Mamakonda.
No. Obviously not. Obviously not.
So, all right, if our president built a mansion, or two mansions for that matter, at first, of course, to be fair with Barrow, he said that the original one, this completed, was built by somebody. Again, an anonymous person.
So we have always said we have a problem with anonymous issues, because the fact of the issue is, what is corruption? Corruption is use of public, not just stealing money, but use of public office for personal gains. It's corruption.
Or using public office for personal gain.
For personal gain. It's also corruption. Now, when you use, who is Barrow? Barrow is the president of the Gambia. take that from him, he is me. He's some guy no one even wants to see.
Nobody will build his house for him.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody will give him a car.
Take that thing. So anything he acquires in the name, in our name, which is the President of the Republic of the Gambia, is a public thing. And must not be misappropriated, or must not be used.
So perhaps it's too soon for Mr. Barrow said he doesn't fear any commission. He is Mr.
He is
Clean.
actually not on that path. I can say that.
He said at the same place that he probably can go unopposed in 2021.
I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe Marabos told him that.
For me, I think that is...
That's a big...
He said, but he qualified. He said, if his projects and whatever he has are completed. Do you think even...
No, but that doesn't...
Unless he goes to Kiang to put Marabos to do some work for him to...
He probably could go unopposed if all his dreams and projected projects are fully completed.
No, that doesn't exist. If only it is dictatorship, but otherwise that doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Elections happen, so
he's not suggesting he's going to ban political, but he's saying that people will come
and
say, hey, my friend, there's no need to compete against him. He has done everything.
Yeah, it's not realistic.
So what do you make of that?
Well, he likes propaganda, man.
Yeah,
that's just propaganda.
I think I would say that's a slip of a tongue. I think people sensationalize it. I would not.
No, he said it.
I would not.
He said if his projects and all the dreams have been fulfilled by 2021,
no,
he will go. He may go unopposed.
You know what? I want to make excuses for Barrow. I don't think Barrow would say this.
He absolutely said
in all
it.
seriousness.
He said it. Okay, so he was just talking.
Yeah.
But was it the same slip of the tongue when Ahmad Ba said? Of course, he later came to clarify that Barrow will run for the NRP in 2021. Of course, Mr. Ba.
That may not have been that may not have been slip of the tongue.
So you don't believe that was a slip of the tongue? You really mean it could happen?
Ahmad is a weird character.
But the government official...
I read it, and what I make of it is that he's making that offer to Barrow. I don't think it was something that was discussed and Barrow accept that I'm going to run on your ticket. I think he's just making the offer because this Ahmad Ba. Ahmad Ba has always been there for Barrow.
He came to say that he actually did not say he's going to run for the party, but he is just saying that NRP will support him in 2021.
How are the two the same?
But let's say, let's take it the other way. So let's say Barrow runs on an NRP ticket. What would that mean?
Ba said that's not possible, he said. He said what he said, that the NRP will support him, but he cannot run for the NRP. He said that later. But you think that was not a slip of the tongue?
Ahmad is a weird character, and unless you understand his politics, Ahmad is a very smart person. He's a gambler, an addicted gambler, who
looks at minister gambler.
Of course,
he gambles in politics.
In political sense.
Okay.
He looks at the sides that he trusts in and bet on that. Ahmad doesn't have sides. He doesn't. Even with Barrow, Ahmad doesn't have sides.
You never know.
And you will come to know this when the scenario
changes or something
starts changing.
I mean, if he's been accused of in fact not entirely believing that the coalition could win against Jammeh, and he was at some point cold feet about so many things, dragging his feet, and later when he realized that the coalition probably had the capacity now to unseat them, he came back full force.
Ahmad likes safe bets.
Safe bets. So if he realized Barrow cannot make it electorally,
he would switch.
He will switch.
He will switch sides.
Definitely.
So, well, if Mr. Barrow and his people are listening,
he is smart. And I don't blame him for that. I think of all the political leaders in this country, when it comes to survival tactics,
he knows.
Ahmad is a superstar.
But I don't think that's honorable, because what you would
it may not be
expect from an aspiring leader is, first of all, integrity and having principles to stand by.
About politics.
That's unfortunate.
Though he will not agree with that.
That's unfortunate.
Well, you can say it's unfortunate, but I'm saying when it comes to surviving, if you know Ahmad,
he's self-preserving. I understand that.
So, and he has survived a lot of stuff.
But is that so different from my party?
Well, Mai and Ahmad are different, because Mai is a political player who... Ahmad has support. Mai's political base is a very limited one. Of course, I know A lot of people have
well, they will
problems
disagree.
with people
GMC
saying
will
this.
disagree with you, though.
Yeah, but I mean, but the facts are facts. I mean,
Okay.
You either speak the facts or you speak something else.
Mama Kande breaks silence after a long time, of absence from public gatherings and public. He came, and he sounded to me as an even more glorified opposition to Barrow, contrary to what people were peddling, that he probably might cow to Barrow and join ranks with him to reinforce whatever support that Barrow might be looking for.
You know what I believe is we sit here almost every week and we discuss Barrow's political potential, and it came to me very recently that we might have been underestimating the move that they are making. I think we are betting so much on the Gambian electorate in terms of their maturity, in terms of their allegiance, their loyalties to their parties. It's very likely that Mama Kande foresees that Barrow is a very potential threat when it comes to elections.
But he is.
Yeah, and he is trying to lay the grounds in terms of aligning his sympathies with the UDP to show himself as a potential opposition to Barrow than the other opposition parties. Because we also have to understand that the constitution is going to be changed, hopefully.
Yeah.
And it's no longer going to be a simple majority, it's going to be absolute majority. And if that happens, political parties will be forced to form alliances to form a coalition. And this may be his move to create a sympathetic environment where the UDP would be willing to align themselves with him. And also to realize that, in fact, as opposed to what we think, that Barrow doesn't have a chance, Barrow may have a potential.
You're thinking perhaps he would say we have a common enemy. And the common enemy in this case would be
Barrow. Why? Because he has the political capital in terms of the resources at his disposal. Yes. And if African politics is anything to go by, it's the resources that talks. You buy loyalties every day. And we are seeing Barrow being relentless in that regard. And every day it seems that the crowd is getting increased. I think people need to be more alert and do not just take this lightly.
So for me, what I see is a scared guy. Kande is scared from Barrow. And because Barrow started, in fact, Barrow was the first who said, when he went to his village, that, 35 people from GDC called him and they defected.
He said that.
Barrow was the first. Said at his rally. It was his State House who said it, the State House media team.
Why do you think State House media?
Barrow was the one who launched the onslaught on Kande. And maybe Kande somehow feeling threatened that this guy is targeting my base, and he has more resources than me. He has
state apparatus at his disposal, and
he
also
they
may also have a common demography when it comes to the electorate.
Absolutely,
they are from the same region. They have shared a tribe, and we know that politics is done on tribal lines here. And if you have the money to wield your advantage,
so I think Kande is trying to seize the potentials here. And like I said, I've said this here. If Barrow establishes any political institution, he is likely to be the substitute of the APRC. What I meant is that he is likely to be the biggest or second only perhaps to the UDP or the biggest. He has the resources, he has everything.
But do you think
he is going to take
now, what do you make of this analysis? The scenario has changed. During Jammeh, people were coerced into supporting the incumbent because of the carrots and sticks we used to get it. The people now have become so politically matured. I mean, people who don't like Barrow
qualify the people.
In the first instance, and the involvement of the younger generation and the new political landscape all over, you think people are not so much sophisticated now that they can't be easily bought by, promises of jobs or promises of cash inducement? You think?
Not.
You have to qualify.
So you are saying that the incumbent, can get everybody on his side?
Not everybody.
This is why you don't get fooled by the crowds, because
you have to qualify the people. Because up until this point, our assessments have always been based on what we experience in the urban areas, what we discuss with.
Which is where the votes are. Anyway, the majority of the votes are.
But is it really?
Yeah, definitely. Go by every statistics.
Really,
the
votes are in the urban area, but
KMC or West Coast.
But when it comes to willingness to vote,
well,
that
it's still urban.
Still KMC.
But if you look at it, even within the urban class, let's say that Barrow, he has made his own onslaught within the UDP. But we've seen,
they have not here. He not made significant roads there.
Yes. But that's different. That's because UDP has come to realize and hold Barrow with contempt. So they were angry with him. They've come to realize that this guy wants to destroy our establishment, and they've held him to contempt.
And they resisted.
So
where else?
But that's different. That's different from, because Barrow tends to have so much sympathy from other political establishments after the fallout with UDP. That's where his strength comes.
Which ones?
Of course, he gained a lot of favors with APRC. He gained a lot of favors with GDC. You've seen their supporters.
Not GDC.
Now listen.
So now, they are supporters.
I'm talking about people now. I'm talking about people.
Yeah.
Who are not like the people you are describing. Now, the people who didn't rate Mr. Barrow's performance, with any respect, will still not embrace him, even though he has sacked Dabo, or they don't.
Well, it doesn't matter, but what
they don't agree with UDP. You are trying to say that those who didn't agree with UDP are probably now coming up to Barrow.
Absolutely,
because of their dislike for UDP.
I don't think so. I think GDC's strategy has been to break the UDP camp into Barrow and Dabo, so that they will be at a position where they can align with party like APRC, for example, because I've seen one GDC supporter who has been an staunch supporter of the party on Facebook, who has been cheering Barrow on when the saga between Dabo and Barrow was on. But immediately after they fall out, their strategy came out, and it was like, this is the time that APRC and GDP now need to join alliances, because now the UDP is divided into two.
But so now you look at, strength is not there for that alliance for now, based on previous election results, to win. There is no indication.
But the chances are still there.
The chances are there, but there is no indication, because
I have, like you said, after the 2016 election, the APRC lost ground, incredibly. Increasingly.
Incredibly.
Yeah, significantly.
But there's still a base there.
No, because the thing is,
there's still a base there.
The people, the subsequent elections have shown that the APRC support is concentrated in only a few areas.
Yeah.
Despite all the 50,000 strong crowd.
But if they have a reason to band together again,
no, because of the reason. The reason is a lot of the people who were supporting Jammeh did not do so because they really accepted or agreed with his principles.
I agree with that.
They were compelled to support him because of fear of reprisals.
I agree with that.
When he left, they quit. They either went to coalition or to align themselves with something, but they've forgotten
Not all of them.
Completely. No, listen. Only the die-hard APRC, who are true and true in their blood, because they come from the same region, or they have from the same ethnic affinity with Jammeh state, and they are mainly in West Coast and KMC.
Have you witnessed the APRC become a rally some months ago?
That's West Coast and KMC.
The base is still there, and it's that base that we are talking
But
about.
the election results have shown that they didn't have the people who vote for them.
Yeah,
they have people who come to the crowd, but the people who went to the ballot box have shown us that they didn't have the support. Yeah, so if you gamble and ally yourself with them, come on, you petted yourself with their very, 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 very unpopular record. The president would be gambling too much to embrace them, because in that case, the good-minded and highly opinionated people who knew Jammeh's style was not good would actually transfer their contempt to him.
But we're not talking about the president.
We're talking
about the president has established his own in his political party.
Yeah, but then he
reaches out.
Yes.
You understand? Not to the party. You don't have to even have an alliance with the party. But you can't make inroads in APRC. You can't make inroads in GDC. You can't make inroads in other political parties. That's what we are saying. And the potentials are there. We said, Barrow, it's difficult, but the potentials are there.
The pronouncement we had from the APRC was that, okay, that was this lady MP who said, wow, let Barrow not think that we are fools. When he was in good terms with Lawyer Dabo, he was our enemy. We were his enemies. Now, because he has been dumped by UDP, he's trying to turn us, let's not welcome.
Those are the leaders.
So there is no permanent enemy.
He was an enemy.
Those are the leaders. Those are the leaders of the party.
That's a member of parliament.
But those are the leaders of the party. They don't matter that much. The voters is what matters.
All right, let's move on to the major story now. We heard from the horse's mouth last week that indeed there was summary execution of 11 soldiers who were accused of taking part in a coup d'etat in 1994, and he was the mastermind. He was the one in command, all the killing fields, and he owned up to, his responsibility, and he's looking for forgiveness. Shall we forgive a self-confessed mass murderer? Because he too suffered at the hands of the very system he was killing to defend. Mustafa.
Wow. This is where you have a victim and a perpetrator at the same time. It's a very, very difficult
complex situation.
What do we do with him?
Sana, I think a lot of people are happy, one, because he has come forward and he explained what he believed had happened. I think that was very consoling because it shows he was trying to help the investigation. Okay? I think that was very comforting. He could, of course, I know he has no choice. There isn't a place he could run to. German itself has an international court that try severe human rights violations like the ones he committed in the Ghana. So if he run to Germany, they could even arrest him and prosecute him there. Senegal, definitely, Dakar is not a place to be when you're running away from Gambian authorities. So there isn't a choice. But he has a choice to come before the TRRC and not cooperate and go to jail. In that case, the Gambian people lose. He can go to jail and not speak the truth. And even if you kill him, the truth will not be known. So in that case,
especially he had to endure 10 years of torture, just because he would not surrender to German tactics.
So he could choose to do that. So because he didn't do that, I think he made a very good decision, and that supports the TRRC. And I think the TRRC is very grateful for his support.
You're saying Sana came out from the cold, of course, by necessity, to free himself from all the web. He got himself enmeshed in these things so that at least he can have freedom to come to the Gambia, to move around the world.
In the meantime,
so the TRC provided him a unique opportunity. To clear his conscience himself.
Even the project he was running, you didn't say the project has been stopped.
Yes.
So it's not something...
This is what I think. I think it was really surprising for all of us. Nobody expected that Sana Sabally was going to come. And he came voluntarily, and nobody expected that he was going to speak the truth. And he offered to speak the truth. Now here's what I think. I don't think, unlike the other junta members, Sana Sabally doesn't have anything to defend other than his version of the truth. Because this is a system that you have killed for, and the system betrayed you. And then you became the victim of that system. What is there to defend? Other than to tell the truth, especially if the chances of you getting amnesty is there. That's what you want to choose. But also, I think what we have learned from his testimony is that you may hate the man or love him, but he's a very principled person. He has his beliefs, however distorted they were. He has his beliefs, and up to this point, he stands by those beliefs. People say he was not remorseful. I didn't feel like, I don't think Sana Sabally is an emotional person that you will see remorse reflecting through his emotions. No. He could say, I regret, and we can accept that based on his honesty, that this is a true manifestation of his regret. But he still stands by his principles, the principle that led him to kill the people that he killed. And this is something that when I listen to him, I'm like, this is a concern for all of us, because this is speaking to an era where the soldiers had this belief that is highly distorted, highly separated from our reality, especially our legal and constitutional realities. And it begs the question of, is this still a thing within the army? Do we need to do more to
Did
educate
you even believe his entire story? Just because he admitted to killing the soldiers shouldn't make us believe his entire story. For example, the existence of a list of names that the coupists were supposed to execute at the same place where they were killed. Some people contested this.
He may have edited some part of the story.
I think maybe he wanted to justify his action. Like that would be more justifiable to us than just
that
say,
would be more
we suspected. We suspected they were going to, because he had done something similar.
Myself, I don't buy his story.
Mentioned this, but his version is that even his name in that list was supposedly written in a different ink and was written last. Could that list just be, made up, a fabrication to justify, the killing of the people?
Absolutely.
It could be.
That's the likelihood.
You know why I wouldn't be surprised?
That's the likelihood.
You know why I wouldn't be surprised? Because the Chongan case, Chongan was punished only based on somebody saying this is what they're planning. So he didn't make any effort to clarify or to investigate whether that was true or not, and he still did not regret doing that. He may say he do, but he still believes in the fact that he was justified in doing that.
He portrayed.
So it wouldn't have surprised. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they go ahead and kill these other people based on rumors that they were going to plot a coup.
In fact,
they don't need a list to do that.
That point was very vital for Val's point, because there are two scenarios, like Nima was alluding to. That was a coup plan being rumored to Sana. Just by one lady walk through your door, tell you there was a coup being planned, you went to someone's office, you find them sitting around, and you are justified to go and jail them for organizing a coup, which you have never investigated. Now, this other scenario is also a similar one. And also, let's also, because truth at the TRRC is a very complex one. People have different access points, and people have different exposure levels. That list Sana is talking about could in fact have been written by somebody else, but Sana may have seen it.
Now, or it was fabricated.
Yes, but Sana, the truth is Sana may have seen it.
But Sana,
it may be fabricated, and Sana sees the fabrication.
But Sana did not.
Someone may want to make Sana believe it.
I
don't know, but
that may be
Sana,
true. And I would accept that more than Sana himself fabricating the existence of that list, because he voluntarily gave details of so many things that had happened under his watch or under his command that he doesn't need to own up to. So why would he throw in this
but didn't he himself indicate that he had this still-hearted feeling at the time to kill, to cross anybody whom he suspects to be sabotaging the coup or for organizing a counter coup.
Yeah.
He showed that he was such a man, that he was the soldier. He was showing bravado, and getting the impression that he was the soldier who would not hesitate to do a mission, even if it means killing. He said it. The guy whom he showed a rare sympathy to, Kerr, whom he said Edward shot when he was interviewing him. He was asked by the council, what would have happened if you had later realized that he was part of the coup? He said, I would have killed him myself. He showed no repentance that at the time he was a killer.
And that's what's worrying to me.
But that's Sana.
That's what's worrying to me. I don't think it's more. I don't think it's only about him feeling brave. I think it's about the kind of belief that he had. Like they felt what they did was legitimate because they had a moral responsibility to topple a government they felt was not serving the people. But then nobody else had the legitimacy to overthrow them. I think that's the distorted belief that they had.
Shall we go back to justify, if we can, that is to justify his reasons that it was a situation of grave adversity. You either get killed or you kill somebody. And there
was no such situation.
Listen, he said so. And the education of the military, we all know the education of the military, inescapably transforms you to such a kind of person. passive obedience is their greatest virtue. You just do things.
But also their lack of understanding of
and
the
later
law.
ask questions.
The
Now,
law that governs them.
No, but obviously, if you go into the military, the first thing you learn of the Geneva Convention and the POWs, etc., you know about that.
Yeah.
He said.
I'm not saying knowing, but
so
understanding.
And he was not that stupid as an officer. He was brilliant.
He was a
That's
brilliant
true.
man.
So he
but
knew about
the
these
fact
things.
of the issue is honorable.
He wanted to satisfy his ego to crush any opposition to his regime.
But there was no war in the first place.
Yes.
So there was no fight.
His action was deliberate.
And there was no such thing as they want to kill us, so we kill them.
And you know what?
Because these are people who came, found you walking, most of them without a gun. You just go capture them, tie their hands, take them to a slaughterhouse, a slaughter ground, and kill them.
He said,
it was that simple. So there was no such thing as bim, and then you capture them and go and execute.
There are a few things I think Issa missed out. One, I mean, the night of the 10th May or 11th, there was a big, there was big noise of weapons being fired in Bakau.
Yeah.
And the impression we got after that was stage managed. I mean, there was nobody fighting. There wasn't any fighting. Asada's own attestation was they shot these people once and then transferred to the.
So also
what was that gunfire? It wasn't a cover. Essa missed that.
No, but I would not say Essa missed it because Essa is different from us. Essa has access to a lot of detail we don't have access to. But for me, it was always being in my mind. For instance, there was this particular gentleman who was part of those who attacked the Fajara barracks. And the thing was that when him alone, he was carrying a machine gun of 500 rounds. He exhausted 200 rounds of that machine gun. In Fajara barracks alone, one person exhausts 200 rounds.
And how many people they said were killed?
I think only 2 people were killed in Fajara.
But those people were lined up and shot. They were not killing a crossfire. Now, who were they shooting at?
What they were.
And what were they shooting at?
This could have been the fire, the state managed firing that ensued after the kill.
So, but what I am saying,
that's the only explanation. Otherwise, they would have killed a whole lot of battalion.
What I have not seen or heard from the
TRRC. Issa missed that point.
Issa
missed the point.
Issa may know what happened.
You know what? You know why I think he missed it? Because he was trying to tell Sana that you cover up. By telling the people that
there was
some soldiers, that was a quote, and some soldiers lost their life.
Yeah.
You didn't tell them the number. You didn't tell them who they are. And Essa should have asked what then happened to that big fire that happened overnight, that you apologized back out people.
And no one died?
No one died.
I don't understand.
So that's
Here's my theory. Sana has laid grounds for the long period in which, what is his name? Barrow was taunting him. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
Absolutely.
He has laid ground for that, that this guy has been taunting me, he's been behind me. He wanted me to get into trouble. And this was somebody that they have planned the coup together with, and then he backed out.
Yes.
And then you came and your coup succeeds. These are people you want to eliminate.
Yes.
Because these are people you
suspect
are
already had a
potential
history.
Because he's angry with them.
Barrow, according to him, Barrow, Nur Cham were part of the coup.
And they backed out.
And
they are senior officers.
They
are senior officers. They cannot be trusted. They are a potential threat.
They never trusted
and
Barrow.
Also,
and Barrow was an intelligent.
And he reported Barrow as well. Barrow reported him.
Yes, and also
remember when Barrow accompanied him
and denied him vehicles.
And Barrow,
stage. So
Barrow was
an enemy.
And Barrow was a battalion leader. He was moved. On the instruction of Edward.
And Marong was brought.
Marong was put in place. So they've always, Barrow, I mean, from
Barrow
what I
has
heard,
always been a potential
from what I
threat.
heard, Barrow's very good soldier.
Yeah.
So he's definitely be a threat to them.
And also, by executing these people, you are also setting an example for those who may have the intention to overthrow this. Because,
so it may have been staged.
It worked from that point up to, I think it was about almost 10 years before
as I was driving at, the junta felt very, very uncomfortable with these people who did not agree to their policies, and they thought that the only way is to eliminate them.
That's my theory.
But I think the agenda is there to eliminate them.
Yes.
It does sound plausible also. that at least there was a planned coup. There was.
Yeah.
So it is plausible
but
that
now, do you agree?
what is plausible in my opinion is that there was a planned coup.
Yes.
The junta realizes Basiru and others don't like them.
Yes.
And they
From
are
the
ready
word
to
go.
get rid of them.
Yes.
Then they acted before Basiru and others acted. They staged this and get rid of them.
Yeah,
but the coup was planned.
No doubt there was a coup. Even from Binaminta's station, there was a coup planned. But do you believe that the coup planners would have gone to this extreme as to executing Jammeh and his people if they had got there?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
They were more mature. They were more intelligent officers.
Because that's in the first place why they didn't want the
They
junta.
were more au fait with international conventions.
Yeah.
They were better soldiers. They would never have executed these people if they have the means to arrest them as they have done to them.
Yeah, it looks likely.
So, because why they didn't agree with it, they felt definitely that these boys who were senior were not doing a good job, by subjecting people to torture and maybe violating all sort of agreements they had.
Yeah. But another question I have
the junta were definitely not comfortable with these senior officers.
Those Sana Savali deserve amnesty, you think?
On the basis, people argue, the fact that he now have left no room for anybody to deny anything about what happened. So on that basis, you could.
His contribution
you
to
cannot
establishing the truth has been.
You cannot grant.
I'm not saying that the TRRC will grant because Essa was
it's a difficult question. It's a controversial question, and I think maybe we'll talk to Essa about the issue of amnesty.
But hasn't he paid, if not in full, but in some part, for his crimes?
No, he became victim of the bloody system he was trying to.
He's still a victim.
He was betrayed.
He's still a victim of state.
He is still a victim
of
state. Yes.
Serving 9 months and being tortured.
9 years and being
Sorry, 9 years.
Everything. He suffered
9
more
years
torture
and
than
being tortured that mercilessly.
And our government money facilitated
I would think,
that.
if not in full, he has served part of his sentence. If he should be sentenced.
But he killed 11 people.
That's mass murder.
He killed 11 people. So there you go.
If I am on the amnesty committee, I think I will give him.
And from his own testimony,
I will give him amnesty.
From his own testimony,
with conditions.
He played bigger role
in the
events of 1990.
But if I were on the amnesty committee,
almost single-handedly.
But if Sana should come in front of a judge now, he is more liable to a lesser sentence. If any sentence at all.
He could still get life.
He will get life. No doubt.
One, he is going to be an asset to the state in terms of assisting them in their investigations and implicating other people.
Yeah.
And secondly, he has also served unnecessarily a jail time and been tortured. So
but not for the 11 murders.
I will give him amnesty.
Not for the 11 amnesty.
But you know, the law is tricky in that way.
But I will give it with conditions.
The law is tricky in that way.
That is?
I will give it conditions that he would serve. He would conduct a therapy. He would be with these families, conduct therapy for these families, and then he would also pay some portion of financial whatever.
No, but people don't want that to happen. You don't want to be your victim's therapist. That is the weirdest thing that can ever happen.
But he could pay for it. He could pay for it. He does not have to do it
some people think he will do a good job.
But he could do it and also at the same time
some people think
pay for some financial compensation.
Some people
they're limited.
Some people
and
say
then he work because nobody gains when you take him and lock him up.
You know what I think?
I think
what is likely to happen. I know what I think is likely to happen.
So if I were
the state of the TRRC will compensate the families of these 11 murdered soldiers.
Yeah.
Recommend Sana be prosecuted in one way or the other. If not, he serves as because before that he's even accepted to serve as let's say role model in courts in reconciliating the people. That is to say, look, I did these things, I am here. I'm seeking forgiveness. If I can be forgiven, then others can also be forgiven.
Well, you can say Sana is an asset, but he does not go far.
But you know,
remember, it's just 6 months.
But you know the kind of
spent so much time.
We spent so much time on Sana, and I think we have Essa Jallow here, who is the communication.
Yeah, he's not supposed to talk about
TRRC.
Sana.
But he will talk
to us about the TRRC, so we can continue from there. I think we will now go with our entrepreneurship segment where we profile Gambian businesses. And this week we met an entrepreneur named Bintu Sarah Dibasi, who is doing a great job in the bakery and pastry industry. She also does catering for events, and for now she is working from home and wishes to expand her business. So let's take a look at that.
My name is Bintu Sarah Dibasi, and I am a Gambian, born from a Gambian dad and a Congolese mom who recently passed away, God bless her soul. I am a young entrepreneur who recently just started my business. So basically, this is a little bio of myself. Okay, before my mom passed away, she used to bake. She was a baker, but she didn't take it seriously in the sense that she didn't want to make it a business. So she actually inspired me to start because I felt like this was something she was passionate about, and I wanted to continue her legacy from where she stopped. I always had the passion of baking, but I never took it seriously. But after she passed away, I took it upon myself that, you know what, I'm going to continue my mom's legacy. This is what she was doing, and I want to make it bigger. Even though we're not where we want to be yet, but I believe that we're gradually getting there. So my main inspiration really was my mom. She inspired me, yeah. Okay, initially, when I had started, the plan was for me to open up a bakery where obviously we produce bread, senful, and tapalapa, but our main focus was to start with the senful bread, being that it's very popular in the Gambia, and being that bread is like the second most consumed food in the Gambia after rice. So we registered our business, well, I registered my business in May 2018, but I wasn't able to kickstart it because I didn't have all the equipment and materials that I needed. The initial plan was to get an oven from somebody here who was selling his own because I think he wanted to shut down his business. So along the line, he later changed his mind because the price at which he wanted to give me the oven was a very reasonable one, being that they don't sell it here in the Gambia, and that on the outside, if you check online, it costs about $3,000 to $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. Which was way above my budget. Well, we're still facing challenges even till today. Like I mentioned earlier, some of the challenges we faced was not being able to get the kind of oven that we needed to produce in large scale. That was one of the challenges that we faced and we're still facing. So, but then nonetheless, like I said, I don't let limitations stop me. It was a limitation, yes, but I decided to push forward. Even though I don't have the equipment that I need, the little oven that I have, I'll work with that. And I believe as time goes, it will grow and grow and grow, and we will get to that stage where we wouldn't need to bother ourselves about how we're going to get this, how we're going to buy this oven, how we're going to do this. I believe it's a gradual process. For now, we usually employ people based on contract. I have 2 girls that I work with. So whenever I have like an order on large scale, I always call them and tell them that they need to come. So they're always ready because they don't really have like work that they're doing. So currently we have 2 people, but it's based on contract. My clients they cut across both genders, male, female, and all ages, because most of the time, like, everybody eats my food, like my snacks, my cakes, bread. So my customers cut across all genders, both female and male, and all ages. Yeah. In 5 years' time, I see myself having my own place. Not in 5 years' time, but within now and 5 years, I see myself having my own place. I see myself having all the equipment that I need. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's definitely going to happen. I see myself employing much more young Gambians like myself, because it's so important for us to know that we can make it here. And I'm just so glad that most youths of nowadays are awakening. They're seeing that, yes, you can make it here in Gambia. So, for now, we're here in Kanifing Estate. It's not far from the Serekunda Hospital. When you get to the Serekunda Hospital, the first junction on your right, you turn right, and then you see a green-story building. So that's where we are. My business numbers, for now, I only have one. That's 751-8833. That's the number I'm using for now. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lamin Sise, Head of Sales and Marketing, EJ Investments.
And I'm Fatmata, Sales Supervisor, EJ Investments.
We are looking forward to seeing you at our stall at this year's trade fair.
And the good news is we have a 10% discount waiting for you for our Sanyang Seaview Estate.
EJ Investments is at the GCCI Trade Fair, stall number 11 and 12.
See you guys.
EJ Investments, we have 10% discount at our Sanyang Seaview Estate this year's trade fair.
Customer satisfaction is our pride.
See you guys at our stall at the Independence Stadium.
See you there.
EJ Investments, nyin trade fair, nga 10% discount also to na Sanyang Seaview Estate or Independence Stadium moto alna mol taraje.
EJ Investments. This year's trade fair, we have a 10% discount for you at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. See you there.
EJ Investments, ñu ngi leen amal 10% discount ci suñu Sanyang Seaview Estate bi ci trade fair bi. Fekka leen ñu ci stadium bi.
EJ Investment, imen jogi 10% discount ka Sanyang Seaview Estate meng ilang habi ang ka stadium.
EJ Investments, we are first in property.
Thank you for staying with us, and welcome back from that short break that we had there. Since we spent so much time talking about Sana Sabali, I think the Gambian population, of course, is divided regarding his testimony. All of a sudden, people are saying that he did good for the fact that he voluntarily came and testified before the commission. And as a matter of fact, he was very truthful. And all of a sudden, people started praising him. And the other side were like, why are you praising this guy? He is not a hero. He's committed so many atrocities. When we went out there to the public to seek their opinion surrounding Sana's testimony. So let's take a look at that, and we'll be right back.
Sana Sabali is a real Gambian for that matter, and so far in his testimony indicated and manifested what is expected of him. We as Gambians, we knew we've went through so many difficulties, and they are the main perpetrators who engage into such acts. But he was so confident and so let's say brave enough to come and witness and also give an account on how things were unfolding while he was the vice chairperson of AFPRC. And I think Gambians should also understand that this is a healing and a pulling process for us, because we've seen many countries who also pass through the same thing, such as Liberia, Sierra Leone, even Rwanda. Yes, South Africa. And what these things brought to them is the reparation side is something else. But the healing process also will request sort of a justice that the victims' families will also want to see at the end of the day. But we could see even today in the testimony at the end of his remark, a particular family was they've already forgiven him. So that has shown a great ordeal for Gambians to also shows that Gambians have a true sense of that patriotism is there, the pluralism is there, and the sense of tolerance is also there. So these are things we should consider and also know that it's Gambia and we are all connected in one way or the other.
TRRC niñ ko doxalee daal wax dëgg la man kontaan naa ci bu baax a baax taxit affaire bi ni moo demee itam tegu na ci yoon nekkul ne nag déglu naa yëpp ci Sana Sabally waaye li ma jot a dégg ci moom nit la koo xam ne ki lépp lim def nangu na ko tayit wax na ko ci kanam mbooloo mi nit ku dëggu nag loolu laay def nit nag bu fekkee ne li nga def suñ la ko laajee nga am loo caa làq wala loo caa nëbb bon dafa mel ni ki yow li nga wax ñemewu la ko wala li nga def ñemewuloon nit ñi xam ko moom nag nangu ne moo def nangu ne itam biñ ko laajee mu wax ne maa ko def loolu moom daal xam naa ko ci moom xam naa daal nit ku dëggu la ci lim ne jëf ji baax na nangu naa jëf ji ñaaw na nangu na ne moo ko def waaye nag wax dëgg yàlla rey moom métti na loolu daal xam naa ko ci. waaw Gambien si li ma leen di wax mooy ni affaire bi demee nii te passé na dafa am loo xam ne li boo xasee ba ñëw rek kenn mënu ci dara mbas boo xasee ba ñëw ci réew wala mu ñëw ci gox wala mu ñëw ci nit kenn mënu ko arrêté lii dafa mel ni que seytaane la woon boo xam ne bi dafa ñëwoon ci seen biir laalaale nag ñi nga xam ne ñoom bokkoñ ci am na ci ñoo xam ne rey nañ leen te ñoom seen yoon newu ci nguur masu ñoo toog ci toogu xam nga loolu bon dafa mel ni que yàllaa ca def seen bakkan yi léegi fi ñu toll ni nag réew mi li ñu war a def nag mooy jéem a xalaat lii ñuy def ñu xam ne seytaane moo ko waraloon seytaane boobu noonu dem na nag fi mu ne nii ñu jéem a dàq nag seytaane andi jàmm jéem a jéggale man daal ñu jéggale loolu laa bëgg waaw nañ jéggale te yàlla tax Sana Sabally ak ñeneen ñi mënta doon ñoom ñëpp suñ nañ leen laaj ñoom ñëpp ñu wax liñ def suñ ko waxee ba pare nit ñi xam ko su ko defee nit ñi nag nañ ci jàngee te xeexoo ci te lu mel ne lii bañ a xamante ci réew mi nañ ut jàmm moo baax
ngalon ko Sana is a real soldier atilintalo kabri ay kuma kilne fo wen niyo fongole wen balo fongole fa ako namon tonya fo God knows true namon tonya fo ala ye tonya lone san ngalo ne ko jatolem pour ala yam fo nak no ntame 1% Gambia ko no ntete yam fo dani lone but avec ban sekunda bul dal bari ngalon ko se
Actually, I truly appreciate what he did because it's something that, is a truth and reconciliation. Come and speak the truth to be free. But if you don't speak the truth, there is a big constituency, a big deal for you. You will be called for, they can even arrest you if you don't say the truth. But he comes here to clarify and tell the truth of himself. Because what Sana speaks today, it really surprised me. And also the way he also went through on his times in jail. He said he also faced many things. What he speaks, that is the truth. That's why he's given advice to those soldiers who were part of the 22nd July movement, who were part of the military, to come and say the truth. The truth can make you to be freed. Only the truth can make you to be freed.
Welcome back from that short break again. Those were some public opinions surrounding Sana Sabali's testimony. I will let my panelists say a little bit about that before we move on to our special guest today, Mr. Essa Jallow, who himself is from the TRRC.
Yeah, well, I think like we ourselves have debated. I mean, opinion is very much divided as to what to do with Sana, because here is a self-confessed murderer who have also turned victim to the very bloody system he killed to protect and defend. So it presented an irony before anybody. Like that man observed, it would be difficult, because if Sana had stolen state money, confiscate people's properties, maybe the state would have thought about compensating those people. But Sana's case is about lives. What can the state do about lives? They've been lost already. So that's what makes his case so complicated. But to come out and say, yes, it happened, definitely, I think that serves to Gambian people a lot.
I think what we are witnessing also is that this testimony has played on our sensibilities as Gambians. It is bringing out our true nature, our true color as a forgiving nation, as people who are sympathetic to one another. And hopefully, who knows, this may be the bright light that is going to bring us to the light so that we understand what has happened, and he's helping us to heal, to learn about the truth, but also to know how to do things differently moving forward.
Mustafa?
I've already said I will forgive him. But if I were
a victim.
People say that we are not in a position to say that.
Yeah, I am not, and I
forgiven.
acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I acknowledge that. But I said there would have been more productive ways to use Sana than perhaps I don't want to say this because he didn't kill my relative. But because of what he did...
He killed Gambians, those are your relatives.
Yeah, but in a way,
From
I
a
mean,
distance
if I speak,
point of view,
if I speak, someone may say, he didn't kill your brother or your father. And so, but, I mean, the way he is helping the investigation, which ultimately is also about the death of those victims, I think is encouraging. He could pay for that. He could pay for these killings in ways that may seem more productive than through judicial justice.
That's right. And now we will move on, of course, to our special guest, Mr. Essa Jallow. He's the head of communications at the TRRC. Now, there is so much background job happening there. Just the hearings are just one part of it. Mr. Jallow, can you take us through the hearings of the TRRC?
Thank you very much. I am pleased to be here. As you said, a lot of things happen in the background for the hearing. For example, when witnesses come, where do they go and what kind of procedures they go through until they get to the commissioners where they testify. So there are a lot of procedures, and not everybody who comes through that gate actually finds himself facing the councils. So for example, if these are victims, it is mainly the victim support unit who take charge, log the person, look at his psychological preparedness for the hearings, and then they would forward the victim to the statement takers, where the victim is assisted and his statement taken. And then from there, then it moves on to the research unit and investigations, and then the legal team also comes in, and everything is put together, and then there is a pre-hearing where this witness will also meet the legal team in the background before they actually come forward, so that all these stages take place. And this is why it's always important that when there are hearings of a certain point, there's a break. Because or else there's going to be a back, we would not be able to get all the testimonies that we would want, because you cannot just keep on having many witnesses continuously. Then the commissioners wouldn't have time to sit down and reflect and look at these things. So a lot of things happen in the background. But what is more important there is the TRRC itself, it is victim-centered. Everything that is being done is about the victim, not about the perpetrator, but it's about the victim. So the victim is the most important person in this whole process. So the interest of the victim is what is looked at. And this is why, first, we need to know the truth. Secondly, we need to make sure there is a reconciliation, because some people knowing the truth will bring closure. And then there is this part that we call the reparations part, which a lot of people has a lot of misconception about. So it comes in various forms, depending on the victim and depending on the witness. Now we've seen witnesses coming in, and there are witnesses who were perpetrators and then they become victims. And this is the controversial part. If you look at all truth commissions, there were about over 40 commissions that happened around the world. But the Gambian one is a bit more unique than all the others.
Especially when it comes with the second R, because in other countries it's just TRC. Exactly. But the fact that we have the reparations part of it.
And not only that, because of the certain powers that this other commission has, other commissions don't have that. So the reparations are not kind of a compensation. This is different. For example, let me take an example of the April 10/11 victims. They have a string of demands that they made. If those demands, the TRRC made sure that the government adhere to those demands, that is reparation for them. You can count it as a reparation. Now, part of that reparation also is taking place. You wouldn't call it exactly reparation, but you cannot wait till the end of the commission before you can help certain victims. For example, now, these are victims who have medical conditions. Already we know that there is a board that has been constituted, and they look into the medical conditions of these victims. And then the TRRC will come in and actually provide financial support for the victim to undergo medical treatment. So that is happening. You don't have that in other countries. So a lot more things are happening in the background. But what is more important here is that it is victim-centered. So some other people also talked about the justice aspect. They didn't see that. Reparations is part of justice. Some people, when their perpetrators are taken through the judicial system and they take the right course of the law, that may be reparation for those victims. Some people are just satisfied being the victim coming and saying sorry, But then, even where a victim says, a perpetrator says sorry to a victim, that doesn't take out that perpetrator has committed a crime. And when a crime is committed, it is the responsibility of the state to look into the course of justice. But we look at it here. If these people were going to be taken to the normal course, it would be very, very difficult to take out some of these evidences that we are seeing. But because there is this incentive of amnesty, there is this incentive of reconciliation, we are able to know the truth. And the truth is very, very important, not only to prosecute people, but also for our history. What had happened in 1981, a lot of people knew about it, but the details are not there because this kind of thing had not happened. And because of that, we couldn't learn our lessons. So when this thing is properly documented, we would see that and we would know what had led to the coup, what had happened during that period, how did they fall out, and then we will learn lessons from this thing and then avoid it. So the legacy of the TRRC, it is going to be the Never Again campaign, and this is where we introduce the young people, and this is why we're bringing them. They don't know what had happened, they'll see this hearing, they're not very, very sensitive, and they will reflect and know this is what had happened in the past, and this is why X, Y, and Z had happened, and this is how we can avoid it.
Mustafa?
So for me, the most important thing argument I've seen coming out from people, and I think this is going to be a very complex decision point for TRRC, is to decide on who to grant amnesty to. And I know even for TRRC, this is likely going to be a very controversial area. Yeah. Who can we give amnesty to?
And how would that look like? I mean, it's important that we understand what amnesty entails from your perspective.
Yeah, the TRRC has powers to give amnesty, but these are based on conditions. Condition that the perpetrator comes and confesses to the crimes that he or she committed, and then the perpetrator was removed, and then also, other aspects are there. I cannot say all of it because there is a specific committee that is responsible for that. There are legal issues around that, and legal issues are not like mathematics where they don't change. Things change, and there are a lot of circumstances that we looked into. But amnesty would be maybe given to perpetrators, but that is going to be carefully looked at so that it doesn't also infringe on the rights of the victims as well. But this is there. And we might see it happening. Probably some people may not be happy when amnesties are given to other people, but then this is.
So that's where I come to, because TRRC is victim-centered, like you said, and already I was at the Yundum barracks when the victims of November 11 were exhumed. We have seen how happy the families were at the contradiction. They were happy at the same time grief. Happy because they think that the TRRC has finally gotten to the basics, the truth of what happened. Yeah. And they were relieved as a result. Such people may be happy, may have in their mind achieved their own form of justice in a way. And how people appear, the perpetrators are shamed and named, like Cadet Silla's brother, Mr. Mahmoud Silla, alluded to. But there might be people also who are not necessarily contented with that form of justice, if you like.
It would be difficult to have a decision to come out at the end that is going to make everybody happy. That is there, because like you said, when we were embarking on the exhumation, when the victim families came, I personally didn't know what to do in the beginning. We had to keep them at the gate and then wait to see what is going to be the impact. So at the end, when they came and then we briefed them, in fact, even whether we would be able to use their images, whatever they do to the media, we have to seek their permission. And they were happy that we can allow that to go on. And this is because we do not want to try to help them, and in the event of helping them, harming them as well. So that is why you can see the victim support unit was there and they were central. So they were doing all of that before we could do it. And then, amazingly, even with the pictures that we used, some people thought it was gruesome that we shouldn't use it, but I
am one of those people.
have personally helped a victim to take those pictures because they want to take it. In the beginning, we didn't allow anybody to take it, but the victims themselves wanted to take it and they want to share it. So you see, not what people think outside, that matters most is what the victims think. If the victims think we can bring this.
Even for us in the media, we had this ethical dilemma of weighing between what offends the public, what borders on the privacy of the people who died, and on one hand, the right of public to know the truth.
Yes,
on another hand, public interest versus privacy.
That's it. And then we took that into consideration, that the privacy issue, and also if you tell people we've gone to the room and we've exhumed these bodies and we didn't provide any proof,
that's another thing altogether
that's
too.
something else.
Yeah.
So and because the TRRC is public hearing, everybody needs to know what had happened. So we have to have a degree of something to tell people this has happened. And even though those pictures are out, there are people who are actually disputing it. You see, so but we cannot go in to try to prove to everybody that this is true, because we know what we have done is true, and then that. But because in fact the way and manner in how you find those bodies, we never show that to people, because that is going to be much more gruesome than removing those calls and then brushing everything and numbering them.
Yeah.
That it makes it a bit nicer, you know, to watch than the way they were the way we found them.
So still on the issue of amnesty, before I pass you to know my colleagues, because when I don't get the kind of justice I have in mind, I may have a justice that is mild, as in my opinion, as compared to the justice I think I should have for the death of my colleague.
Yes.
The TRRC wants to create a scenario where you would not have so-called privatization of justice, so to speak, so that you kill my brother, I'm not happy with what happened to you, you're walking on the street, I go kill you. TRRC wants to prevent a scenario of that nature, encourage reconciliation and stuff. But then again, it has to deal with, and that justice is a subjective view. What happens when in a case I am not happy with your justice?
Yeah, but you know, the law doesn't work like that. For example, if you offend me and in the process of offending me you break the law, then what is supposed to happen to you doesn't only depend on what I think, but is what the law, how the law sees it. So you see, we can negotiate and say, okay, I have forgiven you, but the law may think different. No, you have committed a crime, we are going to punish you. You know, I can be unhappy that the law has done it, but the same, that is the way the law sees it. So it is based on what the law says and based on what the people who sat before the Amnesty Committee think is necessary to provide that amnesty, not based on individual basis. But so that it is not going to be very easy as we think that, okay, it is going to be justice for everybody and everybody will be happy.
Are there meetings? Perpetrator?
There are some
victim.
There are some perpetrators who are actually trying to reach out to have meetings, and you know that effort is being
to
done.
seek.
Yes, but you see,
forgiveness.
These things cannot be rushed. These things cannot be rushed. We know there are incidents when perpetrators met actually their victims, and it was okay, and it was a bit kind of difficult. You can see how the unexpected happened during that last hearing. And there are a lot of background that had happened that has created that, and instead of the victim having sympathy, was actually attacked in the media. So there was, you know, some of these things need to be looked at carefully before a victim meets a perpetrator and a perpetrator meets a victim and seeking for forgiveness. But then what other people thought was, okay, TRRC should have coached the lady and know what to say. No, TRRC cannot tell a victim how you need to feel.
You don't ever tell a
you
victim
need to express
how to feel.
The victim
wrong.
is completely in control of his or her feeling, and nobody is going to stop the victim from expressing his or her feeling. Yeah. And nobody is going to tell the victim you have to forgive or you don't have to forgive. That is not the job of the TRRC. But you can see how difficult it is going to be, how the unexpected could happen, where you think that, okay, a perpetrator can come and say sorry, and the victim just goes, no, I can't accept that. So all of these things can happen. So it's not...
You encourage that emotional outburst, I think.
Yeah. Because this is why when witnesses are giving their talk, they are rarely stopped. They are rarely interrupted. It is only those who are trying to deviate from the truth, trying to bring in theories. You can see that. So victims are normally led into telling their stories. That's how they do it. Because the more the victim continues telling his or her story, it is like going through,
like therapy.
Going back to everything again. So from the time that the person gets into the gates of the TRRC, sees the victim support unit, is narrating his or her story. From there, meeting the statement takers, from there, meeting the legal counsel. So there's a repetition all the time happening. And this can have an impact on, an impact on an individual. And this is why we have 2 psychosocial support workers who look after the victims pre-hearings, during hearings, and after hearings. There are even home visits to victims and perpetrators. So all of these things...
Because they are reliving their stories.
Exactly.
But in this case, I was going to pass you to Lamin Cham, but there is something that strikes me here. There is a particular portion, like say Lamin Cham was a general. He is a general in journalism anyway. But if he is a general in the army and he killed someone, he killed my brother. But Lamin Cham has grown up to have children. These children don't know anything about Lamin Cham's deeds in the past.
Yes.
And he is going to come, your TRRC investigation got to know that this guy has killed Mr. Davo's brother. And they went to Cham, and Cham has admitted. Do you try to, before he appears before the TRRC, some of them may not speak to their families about this. Yes. Do you go sit down their families and prepare them for the shock? This innocent guy, they being all along.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be able to talk about specific examples, but I can tell you that had happened. One of the witnesses, where a witness is adversely mentioned, and that witness was visited, and then that witness had to disclose everything to the family before even coming to the TRRC. So that happens. And then you see, the trauma doesn't only stop at the victim. It also extends to the perpetrator's family. You know, you can see the impact of somebody's parent or somebody's family member being mentioned, and then that negativity actually comes back. So the therapy goes far beyond that. So it's more of a round-robin thing, where the perpetrator actually caused harm to other people, and at the same time, relaying that story caused harm to his own family. So you see, that is happening. This is why the psychosocial support part and the victim support unit is very, very central in the TRRC activities. But let me clear here that that is completely different from the victim center. The victim center is like a pressure group. It has nothing to do directly with the TRRC. And the TRRC victim support unit is within the TRRC. So if anybody happens to be part of the victim center, happens to go to the victim center and then narrate their story, being booked and everything there, that doesn't necessarily mean that the TRRC is going to see you.
Is aware.
You have to go to the TRRC for the TRRC to know your story. There is an understanding between the two, but still, there is that thing that you need to go to the TRRC to explain, tell them this is your story. And that is going to be looked at. And you will be asked whether you would want to appear or not, what language you want to speak, how do you want to appear, all of that thing is there. So it's that process that goes in the background.
What happens if victims don't want to appear before the commission?
Yeah, it would depend on, if it is a victim, if the victim doesn't want to appear, that is going to be granted, but not to a perpetrator. A perpetrator cannot choose to be...
They can be subpoenaed.
Cannot choose to go anonymous. That is not possible. So, but a victim who, for example, I'll give you an example, that, for example, there was this AIDS thing that happened. And the biggest harm that was done was the exposure part, not actually the curing of the AIDS curing thing. It is people have been exposed. Everybody knows that people are HIV and they were being stigmatized. You cannot bring those people back there and they sit in front of the people and say, I was an HIV victim and this is what Jamie did to me. So what you are actually doing, you are amplifying what had happened in the past. So those types of victims can have a private hearing. You know, not even anonymous, they can have private hearings because these are, you can be an anonymous person. For example, if I were a witness and I know that what X and Y said, I was present, and I know this is the truth and everything, and then, but I am not directly a perpetrator or a victim. I can say, okay, I can come and provide this information, but I don't want to appear because I don't want X and Y to know I was the one who gave this thing. But what I'm telling you, I am a witness, I know X, Y, Z has happened. So you can provide that because that person has an important information that is going to connect the dots for you. Because this whole process is like a big jigsaw puzzle. And now what is happening is picking the pieces together. Every piece that is brought in will be accepted, but it may not necessarily fit in the story. So victims come in and they tell stories, and some of those stories are proven to be found to be false.
But you already have an idea of the image.
Yes, you have an image.
So the pieces of the picture are there, and you you get it fit one at a time.
Yes, because the whole process, like I said, from the statement takers to the investigators, and these investigators and the researchers, most of these people know some law, and some of these people are serving police officers. So it is a very robust thing that is happening there. So they investigate these things, they go out, dig out stories, dig out evidences, and they present these things to the witnesses, particularly to the perpetrators. So they will put these things in front of them, and then they'll ask them questions. And then the pre-hearing will follow that. So this is why you could see the legal team is already prepared. They know the kind of person who is coming in front of them.
I want clarifications on a few things. We have talked about this here, but you will be in a better position to clarify what these things mean or what their implications are. We have seen witnesses who have appeared on the TRRC, people like ACB Mendy, and where, I mean, deemed to not be true from our perspective, and few days later they have been arrested. Is this a decision that has been informed by the TRRC? Is TRRC involved in this, or is this something that can happen? That's just one question. I just want to explain my questions and then you answer them. Also, there are people who have been adversely mentioned several times by witnesses to have been involved in atrocities, and they are still serving in the army or in other security sectors. Does the TRRC has any mandate to recommend that those people be suspended until such a time that their case is being dealt with? Because it would not be fair, I mean, from a layman's perspective, it would not be fair for these people to have been mentioned so many times and they still continue to serve in the government like that. The third one I want to ask is these people who have appeared, the witnesses who have appeared, who have been perpetrators and who have admitted to severe atrocities, people like Alaji Kanyi, people like Sana Sabali. What sort of protection do you give them beyond their appearance on the TRRC? Because these are people who would continue to live within the society. Protection. And we may have people like Mustafa said who want to take justice in their hands. Their safety still being guaranteed after they appeared on the TRRC?
Okay, too many questions.
Three questions.
Yes.
I can continue to remind you.
Yeah, the first one is about what the TRRC will do with people who have been in the commission, or about people who have been...
people who appeared and later on were arrested. Was the TRRC
now,
involved in their arrest, or did they make recommendations?
No, the TRRC is not involved. Let me explain this here.
Okay.
At the beginning of every hearing, you legal counsel tell the person that lying on the oath is a crime, and lying to the TRRC commission is also a crime. Now, who is supposed to police that? It's not the TRRC.
The state acted.
True.
And this is exactly what the state is doing. How they do it and why they did it, that is their own thing. So it is not a TRRC thing. If they have evidence, or if they believe that the person is lying on the oath, and that is a crime, then they'll move in and do whatever they do.
But then some people will say that why is the state acting? Are they not interfering with the process of the TRRC?
No, they are not interfering, because what they are doing has not come to the TRRC. All they are doing, because if you commit a crime, the state doesn't wait until the TRRC is complete. They are going to pursue that. You see, so, and the crime is if the person is deemed to have or perceived to have lied on the oath or have lied to the commission, and the judiciary or the justice system think this is a case for us to move in, they move in, and they don't need to ask the TRRC for any permission. So that is it. So the law, like I said before, is not like mathematics where we can say if 2A plus A is going to that, and then therefore it doesn't work like that. It's what the law says. You know, so I wouldn't want to go into that because that is not part of it. And what is the other question?
The other question is people have been mentioned and still serving in the army.
Yes, again here, anyone who has been mentioned adversely is being informed, is been written to, and has been asked to come forward to give their statements. And anyone in that process fail to come or refuse to come, then the commission will start pursuing that person in their power. That, for example, first.
But does the TRRC can, because these are people are talking outside, that the TRRC or the government should lay these people off their job for now until they have been heard.
That is the government's own standard procedure that if they want. If they
so the TRRC cannot recommend that?
No, they cannot recommend that. Okay. All they can do is to ask that person you have been adversely mentioned, can you come? And so far now, I'm not aware of anybody who has been forced to come. All those who have been written to have
came,
Voluntarily.
some people came voluntarily, and then that process is going on. Unless and until that person refused to come, then the TRRC will start the process of its powers, because it has the power of a high court. Then, but not the TRRC itself is going to do that, but will say, okay, X, Y, and Z had refused to come, then those powers would be done, and then that is not going to be done physically by the TRRC. That means the other aspect of the law will take it and the person will protect.
Witness protection.
Witness protection, yes. You see, we operate in different, in different units. There are information that is based on need to know basis. So even if I know what is happening, I wouldn't be able to say that. But
classified.
I can tell you, yes. And when the investigators are working, when they are doing certain things, they would not necessarily tell me that this is what they are doing. But witness protection is also part of their job. There are instances when witnesses come and they are protected, they are taken to places and they are kept there. So I wouldn't want to go into details because these are security matters. But by extension, where the TRRC thinks there is supposed to be a protection of a witness, it doesn't necessarily mean the TRRC has security guards or whoever to go and protect that person. That responsibility will be extended to the police. The IG will be informed that X, Y, and Z is a security, there's a threat against him, and then the IG or whatever will provide.
The question is, does their protection extend beyond the time that they have?
Yes, because in their questionnaire when they come, they ask them whether they think their life is being threatened, or all of these things are examined. And if there is a case for that, then that job will be extended to the police, where the police will take the required measures to protect that witness. Even if we are traveling, we go with our security, but wherever we are going, it is that division of the police that is responsible for the security of whatever is happening there. So that's how it works.
But you also have protected witnesses.
Yes.
Protected.
But I wouldn't know that.
Witnesses that don't necessarily come on the public limelight. They in the background and pointing at some directions.
There may be.
Right.
I won't be able to answer that.
Okay.
You have defined the roles, the various components. Now, there's a new component that we're just learning about, which Republic have not been privileged to see yet. That is institutional hearing. Right. As far as we know, it's individuals who come and state their case. But when you say institutional hearing, what do you mean? For example, if the lawyers or the journalists or maybe teachers felt that they've been offended one way or the other, how do you do this? Does the teachers union come or the press union come and speak on behalf of the, the affected journalists or affected teachers? Or it should be individuals who will come? What is meant by institutional hearing? Short is both. For example, now, if the next theme will be on freedom of expression, and already the GPU has been informed about this. But that doesn't only mean that the GPU will come and then say X, Y, and Z has been offended. If you are directly offended too, that is also one thing. So it's both. So the GPU as an institution will come, and then individual journalists whose rights have been violated will also come. So it's on both ways. The reason for this is to check where the failures were. For example, how to correct things. What had happened to journalists. The GPU would come and give a perspective. What is impeding freedom of expression? What is impeding journalists' work in this country? How did that happen? So this is going to help the commission to recommend what should be done so that all what the journalists are yearning for in a proper democracy is fulfilled. So the individuals will come in, and they will come in as victims, or maybe perpetrators, to testify before the commission. So is both. For example, now the prison has been mentioned many times. The police have been mentioned, the NIA have been mentioned. These are issues that will come and they will reveal to us how their standard procedures, what things have happened, and this is what is going to have the commission to also make recommendations. So because it is, if you look at the coup from start to finish, the coup makers say it was a systematic failure of institutions. So what do? How do you reorient the army not to have that kind of a thing that one of the witnesses think is a right for the army to do? So that is the, these are things that will happen. And why are some of these institutions angry, for example? Why is the army angry to a point that they would go and overthrow a government? So some of these anger may be legitimate. How do you avert those situations?
And I can tell you, these are important things because this is what actually defines a democracy. You have a proper professional army, a proper intelligence unit, a proper police, that where everybody will have confidence that when you go to the police, then that means, okay, now I'm going to have a fair share. Not, somebody taking to the police and believing that your rights are going to be violated.
If you don't have any other question, we would like to.
For me, I have two more questions because this is very important about the TRRC's hearings. So far, I follow TRRC a lot because of some. I have a lot of interest in your personal interest in your hearings, but the point is, I am in contact with a lot more people and that follows and analyzes your sittings. I mean, and the last hearing was on Sana, and Sana appear to be closing on the end of November 11 hearing. I don't know whether you are privy to what other events or issues would be after the November 11. I understand you go in chronological order.
Yes. Yes. You see, this is going to be chronological, but that doesn't mean the book or the chapter has been closed on November 11. If there's any new evidence that comes in that is completely different or that could help, connect, the missing gaps, that witness will also come. And this is why you can always see they always refer back people that they may come back. And if they come back, there are newer evidences or discoveries somewhere, these questions will be asked.
So until TRRC sitting ends entirely in 2 or 3 years, you can still amend, you still don't have a version for now.
No.
Everything is a hunch.
Everything is a hunch. But there may be, as I understand, I'll have to confirm that, there may be a draft kind of a report of what had happened.
On incidents.
On incidents. And that will be looked at. I'll have to confirm that clearly to know. But
in segments.
In segments.
Say how July 22nd happened. After doing that.
Yes.
Possession.
There might be interim reports of that nature coming out. But I don't know whether that would be for the public or for whatever. But I'll have to confirm that really because that is not very clear to me. But that will happen because it is important to have all of these things in chronological order so that to build, the picture, to know where it started, because it didn't start just like that. So you can see something might have happened in 2006, but actually what had happened in 2006 started all the way in 1994. Because even if you look at the November 11 incident, if you analyze it properly, it all started when they said some of those people who had gone to plan the coup withdrew. Yeah. So it also, you can see...
And the anger started, the rivalry started
there. Yeah. So you can see subsequently, even there was an alleged coup attempt in 2006, and you can trace it right back to 1994. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to mention, but you can see if, all those connections. So this is why all of these things are connected. So time must begin for all these things to come in correct so that the report can actually show us the picture. It might not be an accurate report, because there are truths that we may never know.
So this one it may be our last question, but it's also very important because I know you are doing what you call your Never Again campaign.
Yes.
You are doing community outreaches, going to schools to talk to people about TRRC and about the work you do, the need for reconciliation. But there are people who said, well, this is a contradiction because it's, in fact, it's in the first place, it's the TRRC that sets the emotional time bomb that's detonating everywhere. Everybody, the old wounds are being reopened and stuff. Do you feel, from the TRRC perspective, we need that? We need to reopen the wounds
it's not reopening the wounds
and start discussing.
Because you see, the time bomb actually is if this information, all these things that happen remain in people. If that explodes, then that is the problem. But now, if all of these things are put bare, people will start analyzing, and then you will see the real emotions coming out. Because they can see that.
Now,
some people were perceived to be gruesome, evil, and then now they are seen as, okay, this is actually not the thing. And then you can even see a victim coming out and people becoming negative, because of what the victim has said. So all of this must come out. And if they come out, that is what is going to help.
Definitely, one question that has been... It may sound weird, totally insensitive or unnecessary, but recently has come on the social media. Why do you have to stop for a whole month to observe Ramadan? Some Christians feel that why didn't you do the same for the period of Lent?
I wouldn't know that answer because that decision was not made.
Well, it's online.
It was not made in my presence, but I wouldn't think it is because of prejudice to, if let me not go into things that I don't really know. But I would say, Ramadan actually is a very, very dull period. And then even without the fasting part of it, it can also help the TRRC to come back again, looking at all of it. Like I said, every testimony is recorded.
Yeah, but you never stop. You never stop a whole 2 months. That's what people are saying.
But they never stop work. It's just the public hearing that is
but
stopping.
the hearing stopped for 2 months.
They are not going on holiday.
Is that because you don't want people incentive in the Ramadan?
No, maybe people like you would want to sit down and ladies.
From Kiang, it will not be watched.
Well, it will not be watched. The Christians say, well, wow, if you stop for 1 month, why during the Lent? You didn't observe also?
I don't know the real reason. When the decision was taken, I wasn't.
Well, people now criticize everything now. So we're talking.
Which is good in a way, because it helps us.
When the criticisms are there, then we know where we go.
It opens up to the other perspectives that we may have neglected.
Because if you're not criticized, then you wouldn't know what you need to do. But if you have people come in and then say, okay, this is how people reacted to that, then how do we do so people don't react this way? And this is why, for us in the communications unit, we monitor all of these things. And then see how do we plan again and come back and say, okay.
You must really have a social media expert who is going to be online every day, because this is a huge
he has one young man who follows even WhatsApp.
Yeah.
We are doing it collectively, not kind of an expert, but we keep informing each other, and we all have our contacts and things like that.
I must say, particularly me, I must say you guys are doing a great job. The public interest in the TRRC is really wonderful at this point, and the TRRC have done so much to sensitize the people, to engage the people, to listen to the people, and that's something that we want to sustain, because it's going to be a long period.
Are you going to do any community outreach this?
Yeah, we would. This is part of it.
I mean, during this
even in the Ramadan.
During this break.
Even in the Ramadan.
I don't know whether we will be going out, because you see, going out actually has some logistical issues. We were supposed to be in several areas. We couldn't go because of certain logistical issues that I cannot disclose here. But what we do is we plan an event, prepare a concept note, get it approved, and get the funding, and then we start moving. So we do a lot of things simultaneously. Like the other time we went to North Bank, and we went together with the commissioner, there's Commissioner Kinder from North Bank. We had a women's sample meeting where women talk to women, where men are not allowed under no circumstance. And then after that, we had a general meeting with the public there, and they expressed all their kind of feelings. And then from there, then we also had a few of our statement takers who were there to take people's contacts, and so we do those things. I'm not sure this Ramadan whether that nature will go, because that will depend on what we have on the ground, whether it has been approved or not. But then, what we want to do in the process is to look at all the ways of engaging people. We did a lot of town halls, and we will continue to do that. We're planning to do some small short dramas, and we also planning to invade programs like this and talk to people, because for me the concept is not to go and sit there, okay, this is TRRC show. I wouldn't want to have that. What I would want to have is to go and sit there and be grilled, so these things come out, and then to know what people are thinking. But for me, all the time when people say TRRC is doing a great job, well, you smile. But I will have a counter question: where do you want us to improve? Particularly in the form of reconciliation. What are the ideas? What do ideas people have that reconciliation can be achieved? Because this is one of the most difficult parts. So I will always come with a counter question. You say, okay, TRRC is doing a great job. The hearings are fine. Okay, where do you think we can improve? So this is always what I throw back. And this thing, when they comment, social media is there. We will see those things and we will note them down and we will forward them to the relevant people.
Interesting conversation there with our special guest today, Mr. Essa Jallow, who is the head of communications at the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commissions. Thank you very much, Essa, for coming to our studio today. And of course, thank you to our panelists, Mustafa K. Dabo, Nima Kamara, and Lamin Cham. Well, this now brings us to the end of this episode of The Brunch. Do join us next week for another exciting episode. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.
Hi, I'm Lamin Sise, Head of Sales and Marketing, EJ Investments.
And I'm Fatmata, Sales Supervisor, EJ Investments.
We are looking forward to seeing you at our stall at this year's trade fair.
And the good news is we have a 10% discount waiting for you for our Sanyang Seaview Estate.
EJ Investments is at the GCCI Trade Fair, stall number 11 and 12.
See you guys.
EJ Investments, we have 10% discount at our Sanyang Seaview Estate this year's trade fair.
Customer satisfaction is our pride.
See you guys at our stall at the Independence Stadium.
See you there.
EJ Investments ñin trade fair nga 10% discount also to na Sanyang Seaview Estate o Independence Stadium moto alna mol taraje.
EJ Investments. This year's trade fair, we have a 10% discount for you at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. See you there.
EJ Investments ñu ngi leen amal 10% discount ci suñu Sanyang Seaview Estate bi ci trade fair bi. Fekka leen ñu ci stadium bi.
EJ Investment imen jogi 10% discount ka Sanyang Seaview Estate meng ilang habi ang ka stadium.
EJ Investments, we are first in property.
First in property.
mbokk yi Gambia Constitutional Review Commission muy TRRC ñoom ñooy jóg nag di nemmeeku réew mi nekk biti Gambia su ko defee nag ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy doomi Gambia nga xam ne ñoom ñoo toog foofu ca bitim réew ñoom la ñuy nag waxtaanal su ko defee nag loolu mu ngi commencé fi nga xam ne mooy Africa Europe Middle East ak United States of America. su ko defee nag seen jëlbeen tànk bi nag ñu ngi war a dem fi nga xam ne foofu mooy Sénégal Gambien yi nga xam ne ñoo toog Sénégal dinañ war a waxtaan ak ñoom ñaar fukki fan ak juróom-ñett di alarba ci weer gi nga xam ne moom lañ nekk nii ci place bi ñoo wax ne Sénégalese Chamber of Commerce. su ko defee nag Nouakchott foofu ca Mauritanie ñu ngi waxtaan ak ñoom ñaari fan ci weeru mai wi fi ñu koy def nag muy hôtel Taïf la. su ko defee nag façon meeting boobu nag dinañ ko dal di amal Saudi foofu ca Jidda ñaari fan ci weeru mai ci at gi ñu nekk ni lii nag bi nga xam ne ñoom nemmeeku nañ Gambie yëpp waxtaan ak doomi Gambie yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk fii ci biiru Gambie ci réew mi yëpp su ko defee nag ñu ngi war a génn waxtaan ak Gambien ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci biti réew ñoom it nag ñuy wax ci seen i xalaat ci li nga xam ne moom la ñuy bindaati ci téere ju bees boobu leen kon nag jóg leen ngeen bokk ci taarke ji nga xam ne Gambie yëpp ñoo si bokk nag ñu taxawal ko